A billionaire CEO is dropping truth bombs all over Twitter, at Twitter, and all over the place when it comes to California's Proposition C, specifically why tech firms are against it. Now, this is the CEO of Salesforce talking to the Guardian in an interview on Tuesday, and he basically said, "Look, people are against this. This is a measure to combat homelessness that will raise taxes on a lot of our companies. They will raise taxes on Salesforce, and you know what? I'm for it, but these other companies that are against it, here's why." So I want to give you some details onto why they feel that way. Now, first, some details on Proposition C. This is a ballot measure that would tax large businesses in San Francisco by implementing an average 0.5% gross receipts tax for company revenues over $50 million. Now, the measure is meant to help fix a rapidly expanding humanitarian crisis in the city. Now, Salesforce is one of the largest employers in the city, and they, along with other tech firms, have actually contributed to this crisis. They've done so in San Francisco. They've done so, many companies have in Seattle. And so, look, that has caused a lot of people to lose their homes just to make it so unaffordable to live there, because they raise the standard of living, or I should say the cost of living in these areas so much. Now, 1 in 25 public school children in San Francisco are now homeless. Now, Prop C, in which this man is backing, this is Binoff here, is expected to raise about $250 million to $300 million per year to pay for housing, shelters, mental health treatment, as well as more. So this billionaire, Binoff, is actually in favor of taxes, of increasing his own taxes on his company. He said it's one of the best ways to fix the homelessness problem. Now, he's having a public Twitter spat with Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey is, of course, the CEO of Twitter. Now, he recently announced his opposition to Proposition C, saying that he did not believe it was the best way to fix this problem. Now, Binoff had expected Dorsey to stand against Prop C, and said, quote, "That's not a surprise to me. There's lots of CEOs and companies and billionaires in that category. We have 70 billionaires in San Francisco. Not all of them are giving money away. A lot of them are just hoarding it. They're keeping it. That's just who they are and how they look at their money." So now, this points out a very specific problem, right? So here we have 70 billionaires in just the San Francisco Bay Area. The Bay Area has an enormous homelessness crisis. So, billionaires right next to homeless people. Do you see the problem here? Do you see that maybe we need some legislation to maybe help out with that problem? Now, that's what this is about. Proposition C. But again, you have a lot of these billionaires who are like, "Ooh, I don't want to pay any taxes. Ugh, I hate taxes. I hate helping people." So no, I'm not going to pay extra taxes. I'm going to fight against this. I'm going to lobby against this. I'm going to spend $10 million at least fighting against Proposition C, when instead that $10 million could go to taxes so that we don't have so many homeless people in San Francisco. That's what these CEOs are saying. At least that's what Dorsey is saying. That's what other wealthy CEOs in the Bay Area are saying. Now, Binoff says, "No, I don't agree with that. I actually do think that we should do Prop C. I'm willing to pay more taxes for my business in order to do societal good." Great. Great. Now, Binoff said, "This is a critical moment where I think Prop C kind of illuminates who is willing to be a San Franciscan and actually support our local services." Now, Binoff also criticized Stripe. Now, those of you who might be familiar with Stripe, it's a payment platform and another San Francisco tech firm who also opposes Prop C. Now, the company claimed that the measure lacked a comprehensive plan for spending in a recent op-ed, and has also given more than $400,000 to a campaign fighting the measure, making it the largest donor. Now, Binoff says, quote, "It's the most money they've ever given to anything in San Francisco. So that's exciting. Prop C will be a direct tax on Stripe that they don't want to have to pay, even though they've made $20 billion in San Francisco. They're not willing to give back at scale. Isn't that amazing?" Look, now this goes back to there was a billionaire venture capitalist, Nick Hanauer, and he says, look, it's pretty simple, right? Rich people think that they're the center of the universe. They think that if there's a tax on them, even though they're fabulously wealthy, that is somehow a punishment to them. And they should be lauded, they should be rewarded, because they believe that they are the center of the economic universe. That, hey man, look, I create jobs. Why should I get taxed when I create jobs? They're good paying jobs. But that's not the point. The point is you shouldn't be lauded and given special, treatment because you need employees to work at your company. Because you wouldn't be shit without those employees, for one. Because what? Okay, you're going to build all that stuff yourself? You're going to do all that stuff yourself? No, you're not. You need workers. So as part of doing business, you have to hire people. You do have to so-called create jobs. Why should you get special tax breaks for that? But it comes down to greed. And that's the problem here. It comes down to greed, where they feel like they're entitled to not have to pay taxes because of the so-called service. And back to Hanauer, he says, look, that's because they have this narcissism. They believe that they're better than everyone else because they are wealthy and that they should not have to pay their fair share. Now, Hanauer's not that guy, and Binoff is not that guy, but Dorsey apparently is, as well as a lot of these other Bay Area billionaires that think that they're too good to give back what they have gained from the city and to the country themselves. Now, Binoff says, I'll see your $400,000 against Prop C, and I'm going to give $2 million. So not only am I giving to a campaign that is going to ultimately result, if it goes through, in raising my taxes, I'm going to give a significant amount of money to do so. You know how much it would cost Salesforce if Prop C passes? An additional up to $10 million a year in taxes. And here's a billionaire saying, don't care. Go ahead. Please. I have more wealth than I can do anything with. Tax me so that we can fix the problem. So that we can fix the problem. That, look, people say, I guess right-wingers will be like, oh, when you liberals, you just hate people who are successful because, number one, you're envious. And number two, you just want to punish people because you hate them. You hate billionaires. I don't hate billionaires. I don't hate this guy. I like this guy. Because he's actually looking at a problem saying, I can do something about it. And I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to give money and then to make sure that I have to pay more money in taxes so that we can get government to fix a problem. Because it is a problem. And it's not just the whole libertarian type of, oh, no, but if you give to a charity, the charity can solve the problem. No, it's not just charities that can solve the problem. Yes, they can help. But you actually rely on a strong government in order to be able to set policy that can solve these problems. And so I love this in so many different ways. Now, Binoff says one more thing. He said, quote, over the years, I've learned that there are two kinds of wealthy San Franciscans. People who are willing to give and people who are not willing to give. when it comes to Proposition C, it's the same two buckets. You're either for the homeless or you're for yourself. And so we see where basically where a lot of these billionaires lie. And unfortunately, it's for themselves. It is that culture of greed. It is that culture of wealth, saying that, hey, we're better than you because we have more than you. And that's not true. So, look, if you want to fix that, it's going to take a while because I think it's more of a systemic culture issue of how we perceive the rich and powerful. But in the short term, propositions like Prop C, fantastic. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.